The next question will be back to the council candidates, and the question is for candidate Burns. One of your issues notes lack of internet access for the public records. Can you explain that, and what would you do to solve it?
Well, I think the city's made great strides with internet over the last decade, and recently one of the issues that I raised was brought forth, and I appreciate that with providing the council meeting minutes and agendas. But the area that I think is lacking, and where I think the public really needs to be served, is the committees. And I use the subcommittee process that Mr. Bush to my left here is hosting. We've had some other subcommittees that meet. Those minutes and agendas need to be posted as well. And we have various other committees throughout the city. The Disaster Council is one, and several others. We need to post those agendas. We need to post the meeting minutes, because if you're a member of the community, I think it's important, if you want to research the issues, that you be able to pull those up, review them. That if you want to participate in the process, you can orient and educate yourself and bring yourself up to speed on what those issues are. I think the cities, again, I think it's just a matter of improving service, doing a little better job, and serving the community in a better fashion. Thank you.
Yes, candidate Bush.
Thank you, John. Mr. Burns brings up a good point, and that is we do have the city council agenda online now, and I just reviewed it online, so I know it works. But the important thing about that is that if it's online and we're doing everything digitally, we're saving time, paper, ink. It's a more efficient process, which saves us money.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, candidate Topar.
I do agree that this is efficient, but there are a lot of seniors and a lot of people that don't have access to computers. And I think that keeping this the best way that we can so that this knowledge gets out to everyone, we have to make sure that this is available to everyone, because a lot do not have computers and have no access to this. So I would hate to see us all go totally computer and really lose a lot of the attention that we'd get from a lot of the senior people.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, candidate Hart, we'll let you address that at the next round when we get back to your questions. These are questions for the council. The next question is for candidate Bush. Years ago, when you ran for office, you said that you would work to prevent closing of hospitals, yet multiple hospitals have closed. Is there anything that can be done to keep hospitals from closing?
I'm not sure if I ran on that platform 4 years ago. However, it doesn't strike a bell. But Daniel Freeman did close, and so our city is not required to go to Daniel Freeman, which actually ends up being a blessing in disguise for our community. Our fire chief at the time negotiated an agreement where we can then choose which hospital we want to go to based on availability and patient choice. If it's capable, if there's room at Little Company Mary, then you get to go to Little Company Mary, which provides better service to our community, and it's actually a good thing. That doesn't mean the county isn't struggling with providing emergency services to our entire larger county area, but for our city, having that choice is very important, and I think it's been a good change for us. Thanks.
Yes, candidate Burns.
Being an EMS expert and a former paramedic, I worked in the system from the 80s when it was a very robust system, and I've seen what's happened over the last 10 years. It's really been affected. There isn't a whole lot the city can do about the hospital situation. It's a county health and public health issue. But in the areas where the city can support the community with the ambulance service, I think we need to look at contracts with private ambulance so that our emergency services aren't traveling long distances with routine patients. I had a neighbor that I talked to on my walk recently that had a stable situation, and the ambulance was out on an emergency, and they could not get a private ambulance in over a period of hours. Okay, so I think in those situations, you need to broker that as best as possible to support the community.
Okay, any other comments or rebuttals? Okay, we'll move on to the next question, and that's for candidate Dragoni. What is your vision for the future of the city, and do you believe in a balanced budget? Oh, it got better. I left the last one off. So.
Well, first of all, being a business owner, it's imperative that the city is run like a business, and it is imperative that we have a balanced budget because we would not be able to provide the services to the community that we cherish. Kind of threw me off on the, what's the second part of the question?
The vision for the city and a balanced budget.
Vision of the city, my feeling would maintain the charm that we presently have and to continue the economic growth with bringing businesses into our community that fit the needs of the community.
Thank you.
That's it.
Any other, yes, candidate Bush?
Just quickly, we had to make some tough choices in 2004 with respect to our city. We had to cut positions, and it's because we had to have a balanced budget because it's so important that we pay as you go. And over the last 3 years, our budget has increased because we've been very effective at business development and broadening our tax base. And that has allowed us to rehire those positions and fulfill all our financial commitments that we delayed in 2004. So it's been a very successful story for us.
Thank you. Anybody else comment, rebuttal? Okay. Move on then to a question for candidate Georges. What do you mean when you say that money is leaking from city government?
Well, just in general, we have to look at the way each department in the city operates and where money is not being spent correctly and where money is lost. That has a lot to do, it all adds up in the end. And I feel we need to go over everything as far as the departments go to make sure that things are running most efficiently as possible.
Hey, any other comments, rebuttals? Okay, the next question then is for candidate Topar. You said we must spend wisely. Is it your opinion that the current council is not doing that?
No, I don't feel that the current council is. I think there are some things, for the most part, I think things are going fine. I'm just looking at maybe some back council things that have happened, such as the restriping of the streets, where we didn't really listen to the people and we restriped the streets and then realized a few days later that that maybe wasn't the best thing. Spent a couple $100,000 to restripe them back. Or had we really just listened to people in the first place and really thought about what we were doing, we would not spend that money. The parking structure is also another thing. And I feel that we really need to think about what's being done and the effects in long term over these decisions.
Any comments or rebuttals? Okay,